Good evening. President Donald Trump says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit Washington next week, with Netanyahu expected to arrive Monday and meet Trump on Tuesday. Reuters reports the meeting comes as the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran reaches its fifth month, making this more than a routine diplomatic visit. This is a wartime strategy session between two leaders who are trying to control the next phase of pressure on Tehran, while managing political pressure at home and abroad. Here is why this meeting matters. Netanyahu is coming to Washington at a time when the region is still under extreme strain. The Iran conflict has already reshaped oil markets, military deployments, regional alliances, and domestic politics in both countries. Trump has used strong public language toward Iran, while Netanyahu has pushed for continued pressure and security guarantees. A face-to-face meeting gives both leaders a chance to align on what happens next. Do they continue military pressure? Do they try to reopen a diplomatic track? Do they expand intelligence coordination? Or do they attempt to freeze the conflict in place while claiming deterrence is working? The timing is also politically sensitive. Reuters says Trump announced Netanyahu's visit during White House Correspondents' Dinner remarks, where he also drew criticism for comments about Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer. But behind the dinner headlines, the core issue is Iran. Netanyahu's office confirmed the expected visit, and the agenda is expected to center on military coordination, regional diplomacy, and what level of U.S. support Israel can expect going forward.
What is the real agenda behind this visit?
Iran is the center of gravity. Netanyahu wants reassurance that the United States will keep military and diplomatic pressure high. Trump wants to show that he controls the tempo. The meeting is about alignment, but it is also about leverage.
For Netanyahu, this visit is about three things. First, he wants to show Israelis that the U.S. relationship remains strong. Second, he wants to make sure Trump does not move toward a deal with Iran that Israel sees as too soft. Third, he wants to keep the focus on Tehran's regional network, including groups aligned with Iran across the Middle East. For Trump, this meeting is also about three things. He wants to project strength, keep his conservative base aligned with Israel, and prove that his Iran policy can produce results without becoming an endless war. Iran's nuclear and missile activity, U.S. and Israeli intelligence sharing, regional air defense coordination, hostage and ceasefire diplomacy, oil market stability, congressional pressure over war powers, whether sanctions relief is possible under strict conditions.
What should viewers listen for after the meeting?
Listen for the verbs. If they say defeat, destroy, and respond, that sounds like escalation. If they say verify, monitor, and sequence, that suggests diplomacy is still alive.
There is also a regional audience watching closely. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, and Egypt all have different stakes in what happens next. Gulf states want shipping lanes open and oil markets stable. Qatar has often played mediator. Turkey watches the balance of power between Iran, Israel, and the U.S. Egypt watches Gaza and regional spillover. A Trump-Netanyahu meeting sends a message to all of them. Washington and Jerusalem are coordinating directly at the highest level. For American viewers, the practical question is whether this meeting affects gas prices, military deployments, and the risk of a wider conflict. Iran sits near major energy routes, and any disruption in the region can ripple into oil prices, shipping insurance, airline costs, and inflation. That is why this story belongs not only in foreign policy coverage, but also in household economics coverage. Watch for a joint statement after Tuesday's meeting. Watch whether Trump signals more strikes or more diplomacy. Watch whether Netanyahu asks publicly or privately for more military support. Watch whether Congress demands briefings before any expansion of operations. And watch oil prices immediately after the meeting, because markets will read the tone quickly. This is not a ceremonial visit. It is a war strategy meeting wrapped in presidential optics. Netanyahu wants assurance. Trump wants control. Iran is watching for division. Allies are watching for direction. And American voters are watching for whether this becomes a defined strategy or another open-ended conflict.